It's just another tough fight for either one.
He's got a better chance to be very competitive in this Inoue because he doesn't throw reckless punches and too many punches, where he gives Inoue a lesser chance to catch him.
He's vulnerable, he can be hurt, he can be put down, and MJ's a big puncher. I don't think you can judge much off of the performance of last week from MJ because it was sort of cautious, and he was just going in there to get the win.
Boxing experts are seriously backing Murodjon Akhmadaliev as a dangerous opponent for Naoya Inoue. Teddy Atlas highlighted that MJ is not only powerful but also a smart, disciplined fighter who never wastes punches. Instead of throwing recklessly, he calculates every shot with precision, making it much harder for Inoue to find openings. His southpaw stance, strong fundamentals, and maturity in the ring give him a real chance to pull off an upset. Analysts believe that if Inoue underestimates him, Akhmadaliev's skill, speed, and composure could be the exact formula to hand the Japanese star one of the toughest fights of his career.
He's a southpaw, he's a good puncher, he doesn't waste anything. He's very deliberate in his approach. He slowly, takes the air out of the room by carefully putting pressure on. He's not reckless. He's got good legs. He controls range really well, going in and out, changing range. That helps him defensively. It helps him offensively. He does that like Lomachenko did it. Not as good as Lomachenko. I don't know if anybody does legs as good as Lomachenko at his best did. And Lomachenko was better because he not only went in and out, he went to the sides. He went in, out, side, in. I mean, he was a magician with his legs. He was a ballet artist with his legs. But MJ uses them well. He doesn't waste anything. As my son said, he's got good eyes. He places punches really accurately, especially to the body. He throws a beautiful left uppercut to the liver. Beautiful, from the southpaw position. Usually you see that punch from the orthodox position with the conventional left hook to the liver. He does it with a left uppercut to the liver. He gets range. He delivers it, again, very accurately, flawlessly. He is a serious guy. He's not the busiest guy in the world, but that makes him a problem too. I kind of laughed, one of the commentators, I don't know who the guy was, but the blow-by-blow guy, I had to laugh when he said, "Oh, hey, this will never work against Inoue." What are you talking about? Why? He's got to throw more punches for you to give him a chance against Inoue? Where did you get your boxing diploma from? What school was that? I'd like to know. So he's going to have a better chance, in your estimation, to beat Inoue because he should be throwing a lot more punches.
Joel Diaz emphasized that Murodjon Akhmadaliev truly stands out in the super bantamweight division. As a southpaw, MJ brings natural angles and unpredictable movement that trouble orthodox fighters. Diaz praised MJ's rare blend of speed and strength, pointing out that his punches land with precision and purpose, not just raw force. His footwork allows him to control distance, pivot out of danger, and create openings from unusual angles. According to Diaz, facing Akhmadaliev will never be straightforward. His unique stance, calculated aggression, and athleticism ensure that even elite opponents must prepare carefully. Against Inoue, Diaz believes these qualities could transform what some view as a mismatch into one of the toughest challenges of Inoue's career.
Joel, we just talked about you did save Cinco de Mayo boxing. Congratulations. Now that you know Inoue from Cardenas, you have MJ, who's next. Is that going to be here or is it going to be Tokyo? Do you know?
They talked about Tokyo. I think it's going to be over there.
I think it's more electric here because we can go. But now,
I wish it was here.
I know. With what you learned and with Cardenas learned, is it going to be easier to be able to train MJ, or do you think Inoue is going to come in differently?
Well, it's a different style. It's a different fighter. Cardenas is a right-hander. MJ is lefty. Their both styles are different.
Thank you so much.
It's just another tough fight for either one. I mean, MJ is tough. He's strong. He's disciplined. He has great timing. He has better footwork. Cardenas, don't get me wrong. Cardenas is very, very smart with his defense. On avoiding getting hit. But I don't think it's going to be easy for either or.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be an easy task, even though I share the ring with Inoue already. It's not, because Inoue is very smart. He's very athletic, and I mean, his timing, his volume is overwhelming.
Analysts warned that if Naoya Inoue underestimates Murodjon Akhmadaliev and treats the fight as an easy win, it could be the biggest mistake of his career. The concern isn't about Inoue's talent, his skills are undeniable, but about mindset and preparation. Experts highlight a critical factor: Akhmadaliev is trained by Joel Diaz. That experience gives Diaz's team valuable insight into Inoue's tendencies, vulnerabilities, and exploitable habits. Analysts argue this shared training knowledge could prove pivotal. Inoue must remain disciplined, avoid overconfidence, and treat MJ as a legitimate, highly prepared threat, or risk paying a steep price.
Naoya Inoue admitted that MJ Akhmadaliev may possibly be his strongest opponent yet, and that there's no shame in admitting that his plan is to stay vigilant and be extra cautious. Inoue, who's known to always pretty much win via knockout, admitted that for this fight, it's okay to win via decision, suggesting that being reckless and letting his guard down is definitely a big no-no, especially considering that Akhmadaliev's trainer is the same guy who trained Ramon Cardenas, the fighter who fought and scored a knockdown against Inoue this past Cinco de Mayo. Once again, this fight will be for the undisputed junior featherweight title, and if Inoue wins, he's expected to fight again on December 27th and will be headlining a Japan versus Mexico card in Saudi Arabia. Now, this will mark Inoue's official Riyadh season debut in the Middle East, as well as the last fight for Inoue before he and fellow Japanese pound-for-pound Junto Nakatani meet early next year.
Teddy Atlas once again praised Akhmadaliev as one of the fastest and strongest fighters in the division. He noted that MJ never wastes punches, calculating each shot for maximum impact. This disciplined style, according to Atlas, makes him particularly dangerous against Inoue. By avoiding reckless exchanges and focusing on precision, Akhmadaliev reduces the chances of being caught while increasing his odds of pulling off an upset.
Yeah, and he's a southpaw. He's very select with what he throws. And when he throws, it's accurate. It's at the right place, at the right time, in the right position. He's not throwing, like you say, more punches where he might throw from too far away or too many in one spot, where Inoue, who's great at timing guys, would time him in between a fourth punch. Inoue won't have that opportunity because this guy is selective. He is smart. He is calculating. That's what gives him a chance. That's the opposite of what whoever he was. The opposite. That's what gives him a chance for me.
Eddie Hearn stirred debate when he suggested that Naoya Inoue was once avoiding a showdown with Murodjon Akhmadaliev. According to Hearn, Inoue had been warned that MJ was the most complete and dangerous fighter in the division, yet the fight never materialized until now. Hearn insisted that MJ has long been the most avoided boxer at super bantamweight, too high risk with too little reward for the top names. By framing it as Inoue sidestepping the challenge, Hearn fueled the narrative that this fight is overdue, while simultaneously elevating Akhmadaliev's profile as the fighter other champions didn't want to face.
Inoue is straight ducking MJ Akhmadaliev. He's been ordered to fight him twice, right? He's had 2 gimme fights now instead of fighting Akhmadaliev. And now, well, tomorrow, no, Monday, the WBA will write to Naoya Inoue and they will say, enough's enough. You have to fight Akhmadaliev next, or you will be stripped of your WBA world title. He has ducked Akhmadaliev twice after an order. Now he's getting ordered for a 3rd time, and he will give up his right as undisputed champion rather than make a mandatory defense against Akhmadaliev. What? Tell me a better fight at 122 than Inoue against Akhmadaliev. It doesn't exist. So you're ducking the best fight in the division. And I can't understand it. Like, and I don't even think, it's just coming from the team. They don't like the fight.
Gareth A. Davies, however, challenged Hearn's claims, bluntly asking, who is MJ Akhmadaliev that Naoya Inoue would need to avoid him? Davies pointed out that while MJ is respected by insiders, his name recognition outside hardcore boxing fans is still limited. Inoue, on the other hand, is already a global star and undisputed champion with a record of beating elite competition while building a massive following. From that perspective, the idea of Inoue ducking someone lesser known seems contradictory. Davies emphasized that Inoue doesn't need validation, his accomplishments speak for themselves. To him, Fighting MJ is more about legacy and adding another dangerous name to Inoue's resume than silencing critics. The contrast between Hearn and Davies highlights two sides of the narrative, one promoting MJ as the avoided man, the other questioning whether such avoidance ever made sense.
Akhmadaliev, who is Akhmadaliev? I know he's very seasoned and he's a brilliant fighter and very dangerous, but who is he?
At this stage of Naoya Inoue's career, exactly that question, Gareth. Who is he?
Naoya Inoue is number 2 pound for pound in the world, mate, isn't he? Or 2 or 3.
For the people that may not know Naoya Inoue, he's in the top 3 pound for pound. He's a 4-weight, 4-division world champion, 2-weight, 2-division, undisputed champion. Naoya Inoue, I'll tell you where he goes next. He's been light fly, super fly, bantam, super bantam. You know, he's gone through the divisions, winning world titles and getting undisputed, etc. Where does he go next? He moves up. He's just signed with Riyadh season. Yep. The fight was there. It was a brilliant performance against Kim. Just showed his class, absolutely dominated and absolutely iced him.
Don't call him on, I say, because Kim made a massive mistake, didn't
Kim
he?
called him on, and the body shot was crippling, and then he landed a big right hand. The fight was over, but it was calculated. It was meticulous in that finish. It was brilliant.
This guy is a modern great. He's called a monster because I think it's 26 knockouts from 29 fights now. He is so destructive. He's come up through the weight divisions, as you say, 4 weight divisions, not just winning world titles, but dominating the best in the divisions. He's stepping up to a 5th weight division. He's got the credence and the belief of Turki Al Sheikh now, who wants him to fight. Who did he mention? Nick Ball. And this is a fight we've been pushing for. I've been talking about it for a year. Stylistically, Ball is a squat, powerful pocket rocket who comes at you all night.
Trainer Joel Diaz added another layer, praising Akhmadaliev's versatility and pedigree. He argued that MJ is bigger and more complete than Raris Aleem, a fighter who previously gave Inoue problems. Diaz noted that if Aleem could trouble Inoue, then Akhmadaliev, who is faster, stronger, and more experienced, would be an even tougher challenge. Having faced every style imaginable, pressure fighters, counterpunchers, slick movers, and heavy punchers, MJ has sharpened his adaptability and ring IQ. Diaz described him as one of the most complete fighters today, not just because of his physical tools but also his intelligence. For Inoue, who relies heavily on timing and precision, Diaz suggested that MJ's depth and experience would present a unique test.
You just mentioned earlier MJ has that fight in Mexico. It's looking like a stay busy kind of fight. We've heard that the fight with Inoue is official. Is it confirmed?
Well, they said it is. I don't know. I mean, they already announced it. They said it's September 14th. So.
And now we see MJ and Ramon, good buddies. There's animosity there. Yeah. They're always motivating each other. Half the time they don't talk really about common opponents. They're just they're just treating the shit the way they say it. What has MJ said about that fight, and how does he feel about his chances?
Look, you're talking about 2 different fighters. Ramon is totally different from MJ. MJ is lefty. Ramon is righty. Ramon is a smaller than MJ. MJ is a bigger, solid, more solid fighter with more technique. He was an Olympian. Remember, MJ has fought every style around the world because he was an Olympian. He was a silver medalist, bronze medalist, whatever. He's fought the best of the best in the world. That's why MJ has a better chance than Ramon. The only difference between us and MJ is the language barrier. To talk to him the way I could talk to a Mexican fighter that grew up with me, to motivate him in my language is different than just saying davai, the rabota, like work, No, it's different. So that's the only issue, the only factor that we're gonna have to work around. But I just think that MJ, it's faster. He is really hard as well. His timing and his experience.
Okay. And of course, MJ, again, Ramon, you guys have one of the deepest stables in boxing. Obviously, the boys have talked about it. If one of them gets a title, they'll serve it up.
No, they talked before. It's like, for example, they said before the fight, Ramon said it. If I win this fight, if I beat Inoue, I will not fight MJ. I will not fight a stablemate. He's my friend. He's my team. He says, we would talk about it if it's beneficial for both.
Matchroom's Frank Smith echoed the excitement, calling this the defining moment of Akhmadaliev's career. He underlined MJ's punching power, reminding fans of his recent knockout threat performances. Smith stressed that this fight represents not only the biggest payday of MJ's career but also the biggest stage. A win over Inoue would instantly give him global recognition and cement his legacy. Smith added that the timing is perfect. MJ is in his prime, confident, and motivated to seize this chance against the sport's most celebrated smaller-weight champion.
MJ Akhmadaliev as well gets that win and sets up with an absolute mega fight with Naoya Inoue in September as well.
Yeah, 100%. Look, he was very cautious in there. As you can imagine, he's got a lot riding on it. 14 weeks until the Inoue fight. I think September 15th is the date for that in Japan. A fight he's waited a long time for, been very patient for, and I think been more than, given more than enough time for Inoue to do the other things he's wanted to do. But yeah, he finally gets his opportunity to become undisputed. He was unlucky in that fight against Tapales a few years ago now to lose his belts, and would have got the Inoue shot a lot sooner. I think we saw in the last Inoue fight he can be vulnerable, he can be hurt, he can be put down, and MJ's a big puncher. I don't think you can judge much off of the performance of last week from MJ because it was sort of cautious, and he was just going in there to get the win, get some rounds ahead of the biggest fight of his career. It's going to be a spectacular occasion come September.
Observers agree that Murodjon Akhmadaliev is one of the toughest challenges Inoue has ever faced. Unlike past opponents who entered the ring already beaten in fans' minds, MJ carries both credentials and confidence. His blend of strength, skill, and determination makes him a complete package. Plus, his southpaw stance adds another tricky layer. Analysts point out that while Inoue is dominant, he hasn't faced many fighters with Akhmadaliev's balance of attributes.
So Naoya Inoue's next fight with Murodjon Akhmadaliev has been announced for September 14th, so same weekend as Canelo Crawford in Nagoya, Japan. Now Akhmadaliev, he's a solid test. Crafty southpaw, can move his feet well, he can dig to the body, exchange on the inside. He's got decent combination punching, very durable. This will be one of Inoue's tougher fights at 122. Although definitely not the toughest fight of his career like they're promoting. I would say Donaire won. But MJ can definitely box. And Inoue, he can sometimes start slower against southpaws. Like the Neri fight, even the first 2 or 3 rounds against Doheny. But I do think his power will eventually take over in this one. Akhmadaliev does get into exchanges. Inoue's right hand, his body shots start to land. So I can see Inoue getting a late stoppage in this one. Now, Inoue is supposed to have 4 fights this year. And Turkey is also finalizing him versus Alan Picasso for a Saudi card in December. And I think that card is supposed to have a Japanese fighters versus Mexican fighters theme. But Inoue, very active on a great stretch right now. Cardenas, MJ, Picasso, and then obviously the big one with Junto Nakatani next year.
The stage is set in Japan, where Inoue will defend his crown in front of his massive home fan base. Interestingly, the fight falls in the same week as the blockbuster Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford event. While that bout dominates global headlines, Inoue versus Akhmadaliev has captured plenty of excitement in its own right, pitting 2 of the super bantamweight division's best against each other. Hosting it in Japan only amplifies the spectacle, as Inoue's immense popularity guarantees a charged atmosphere for the challenger.
Right, it looks like the monster Naoya Inoue has confirmed the location for the super fight between himself versus Murodjon Akhmadaliev for the undisputed super bantamweight title. The monster recently posted this stating, quote, "The Nagoya SHOWDOWN is now set." If you don't know, Nagoya is a city in Japan. And this more or less confirms that the super fight between both men will be set in Nagoya, Japan. Now we've got the location for it, the next question is, when's the actual date for it all? And I might just have the answer for this. Doing a little bit of detective work, it looks like the date for this showdown will be on September the 14th. MJ looked calm and relaxed against Castillo, and to be honest with you, he didn't really have to get out of gear 1. Against the monster Naoya Inoue, he's gotta have to be in his optimum best to stand any chance of getting the victory. As for Naoya Inoue, we know he's gonna put on a world-class performance, especially in front of his home country of Japan. Guys, as a boxing fan, I'm so excited for this matchup. Like I said before in the past, this is one of the fights I've always wanted to see Naoya Inoue get tested on, and we're about to get it in September. Guys, what's your thoughts about all this news? And when these two do collide in September, who do you have winning and how? Let me know.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates.